There's a lot of teams that need a quarterback right now. And there are teams that are in position to acquire those quarterbacks in the draft, maybe. They're going to have a quarterback at some point. But Pittsburgh has a very interesting situation, a dilemma, if you will. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers at their quarterback situation, they have 2 on their depth chart because, that's the minimum you have to have for a depth chart. You have to have at least 2 to go into a game. So they brought Mason Rudolph back after his tenure in Tennessee, and they signed him to a 2-year, $8 million deal. Half of it's guaranteed. And then they brought over Skylar Thompson, who has a little bit of playoff experience.
That's
He
from the
played
Miami Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken.
Miami Dolphins.
He filled in for Tua. Excuse me.
And I don't remember that playoff game being an absolute blowout. I felt
It wasn't
was
a blowout.
competitive.
It was competitive. Like, they had moments and opportunities where the Dolphins could have, they were one play away. Really, that's really what it came down to. One play away.
Well, are the Pittsburgh Steelers one quarterback away from competing, Nate? In my opinion, it doesn't matter who they have at quarterback. Mike Tomlin's always going to find a way to get them to be competitors in the postseason. But let's talk about Aaron Rodgers first. All magnifying glasses, all cameras, everything is pointing at Aaron Rodgers right now. Is he going to continue to play football? Is he going to go somewhere else? Is he going to go to Pittsburgh? So let's talk about a couple signs that might allude to him going to Pittsburgh. Today, Art Rooney, Steelers owner, they have an annual owners meeting. Today, it was it. And he was asked, look, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh? They are actively trying to get Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. He said that things are pointing in that direction. Of course, if this doesn't happen, it could make Art Rooney look a certain type of way, give people false hope. And this past weekend, Aaron Rodgers took a plane to Pittsburgh, had a little throwing practice with newly acquired wide receiver DK Metcalf. There's a couple signs pointing to maybe Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh for a year, maybe 2. See how long he stays there. How do you feel about Pittsburgh acquiring a veteran? He's 41 years old at this point. In Aaron Rodgers. Is it a good move, bad move, ugly move? What's your opinion, Nate?
Opinion. Again, opinion. I'm not Coach Mike Tomlin. I am not the Rooneys. So when it comes down to it, they did what was best, and they're doing what's in the best interest of that franchise and that organization. I honestly feel that Russell Wilson was the best option with the acquisition of DK Metcalf. I like Russ's mentality as far as he's a better leader than Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. Better leader, better locker room guy, better team guy. Aaron Rodgers has the statistics. He has the arm talent, all these things. He can make all the throws. Yet, I don't see him being the locker room guy that they necessarily need. This team really in that AFC North division when you have the likes of Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, the Cleveland Browns, you have to have something to combat and compete with. It depends on what Aaron you get. It depends on the coordinator, Arthur Smith, if he can adapt and get Aaron to adapt to a system that's going to be beneficial for the quarterback, the play caller, and the weapons around him. That's beneficial. When I seen Russell Wilson, when you guys sent me that message that Russell had signed with the Giants, and I'm just like, because I really thought he was going to go back. But don't get me wrong, this team is in a position where the AFC North is the most competitive division in all of football, and you got to be able to maintain. I mean, with the likes of the teams that I said, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, or excuse me, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, you have to be able to make strides and compete in that division. So if Aaron Rodgers is what you think can be the missing piece that can get you over the hump and get you a playoff victory and move closer to being a competitor in the AFC, then do what's best.
Now, I would agree with you to a certain point. And this is where I feel ruins Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. I would have loved if 6-1 Russell Wilson was at Pittsburgh. But you have to look at how Russ ended the season. And remember the question we continually ask ourselves once we get to that bottom 5, bottom 6 of our mock draft, Nate. It's what prevented you from making it further in the playoffs. When you are 4 games away from the playoffs and you do make it, and Russell Wilson goes 0-4 in those games, almost loses a playoff spot. He played the 30th best amongst starting quarterbacks in those 4 games. That is where Russell Wilson went wrong in Pittsburgh. If he did not finish so poorly during his tenure there, we would see Russell Wilson staying in Pittsburgh. But now we're to the point of, with as many years as you had small hands Kenny Pickett starting, what other quarterbacks can still compete in that Pittsburgh situation, in that system? There are a ton of them. If you're having the smallest hands in history taking you to the playoffs, there's a lot of people that can also take you to the playoffs in that position. So you have to think to yourself, did Russell Wilson play good enough to keep us in that position? And if you're losing the 4 games leading up to the playoffs, I think that answer becomes pretty clearly a no. That's why Russell Wilson's not in Pittsburgh anymore, as much as it would have been for them to keep him there. Now you have to go back to the drawing board.
But I mean, I'm not so sure about Aaron Rodgers because we seen what he did 2 years in New York. Are we? That's one of the things that's baffling to me is that we saw 2 years of Aaron Rodgers. There was so much hype and talk about the New York Jets are going to be able to compete in that AFC East with the likes of the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers, the last 2 years, Aaron Rodgers, well, given the first year he was hurt, can't say much. Aaron Rodgers looked like Joe Schmo. He looked like, and this is no disrespect, he looked like he was a backup. He looked his age. So, given Russell Wilson, he started fast and they fizzled out. I give him that. Yeah, you're right. Aaron Rodgers never started nothing up in New York. They were getting drummed. He did not look. There were times when he looked so scared in the pocket. There were times where his footwork was atrocious. There were times where he just didn't look like, quote unquote, Aaron Rodgers. We seen Tom Brady in his 40s look so much better than Aaron Rodgers. We saw Drew Brees, and you can't say nothing to me about Drew Brees. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, these guys really, as they got older and again on the later half of their careers, they still were productive. Aaron looked like he looked horrid. But I mean, again, you put him in with the right system, with the right pieces around him. At this point, Aaron Rodgers, he needs a running game because he's not the quarterback that can drop back 30, 40 times a game and just win the game. He needs a running game. He needs the offense to be simplified. He needs it really to be called a certain way that, again, it's not all on his shoulders.
You lose Najee Harris to free agency, so you might not have that running game that you're asking for. It's not that Aaron Rodgers played terrible last year. It's that he didn't play like Aaron Rodgers. We've seen quarterbacks come back from an Achilles tear. Kirk Cousins, for example. Dude didn't last half the season before Atlanta fans wanted him out. But I'm not advocating for Aaron Rodgers, Nate. This is what I'm advocating for. You go to the draft, and I might be alluding to our final mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the draft, and you get a certain quarterback at 21. I'm not advocating for you to pick up 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. I'm advocating for you to draft quite possibly who I think is number 2, at least 1 or 2 in quarterbacks in this draft class. And it's hard for me to say that because of the color I'm wearing right now, Nate. But if he falls to 21.
Don't say Jaxson Dart. Do not say Jaxson Dart. Do not say Jaxson Dart. Do not say Jaxson Dart.
I think Jaxson Dart can give you a pretty good opportunity.
Do not say
Pittsburgh.
Jaxson Dart.
Think about it, Nate. Think about it. When we have seen rookie quarterbacks fail, it is because their team is constantly playing from behind. If you give a rookie quarterback as good of a defense as Pittsburgh has, they are going to compete. You're not going to have to play from behind every single game. Take the Bryce Young rookie year, for example, in the Panthers. They played behind just about every single game that season, and we saw Bryce Young's game diminish. He looked horrible his rookie year. Horrible. But now we're getting into a situation where maybe it's not so bad for a rookie quarterback. The defense is now good enough to, hey, get you in the playoffs with terrible quarterback play. I understand Pittsburgh, they have PTSD from drafting Kenny Pickett 20th overall back in 2021 or 2022 or whenever you drafted him. You might not have that issue with Jaxson Dart. You have a prospect who has gotten better each year in college. That is all you can ask from a prospect. A guy who showed out in the combine. A guy who showed out during his pro day. You are now having a prospect that has done everything asked for in a quarterback. And if he falls to number 21, I would 100% take him if your mind is not made up on Aaron Rodgers. Take Jaxson Dart, develop him into the quarterback you wanted with Kenny Pickett, who has slightly larger hands than Kenny Pickett and does not have the pressure that a rookie quarterback has when he goes to the number 1 overall team. You have a defense. You're not going to be playing from behind. Coach Jaxson Dart and make him the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I wouldn't want to draft a Jaxson Dart if you're going to find the likes of an Aaron Rodgers, because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback you can really learn behind.
You take one or the other. One or the other. You don't get both. Not in this scenario.
Not in this scenario?
You don't get both. No.
I think right now I'm going to have to.
You pick one or the other.
I'm going to bank on Aaron Rodgers right now. Just off of the strength of this team needs a veteran quarterback because it has the pieces needed. You can't go in there with a rookie quarterback in that same division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. I'm sorry, you can't.
Says who? What'd the Commanders do last year? They came in with the rookie quarterback with the Super Bowl champions and did a pretty dang good job. It can be done.
It can be done.
I'm not saying Jaxson Dart's Jaden Daniels.
I'm not about to go against you with that, because you were the one that picked Jaden Daniels, all this, and everybody kept saying
it wasn't going to happen.
It wasn't going to happen.
And now they're the 29th pick of the NFL draft.
I'm just sitting here saying, again, with this team, with the pieces that this team has, let's get a veteran. You need veteran. That Steelers team, it really needs veteran leadership at the quarterback position.
Has Aaron Rodgers given that before, though?
No, but you need a veteran that's going to be able to. You need at least a veteran to he flashed. He's not the old Aaron Rodgers, but you need something from him so you can, again, this team, you can't waste the opportunity with this team.